hotel and motel workers of Reddit. What's the weirdest thing you've come across in the rooms? Before we start with the first story, please hit a subscribe and ring the notification bell to stay updated with us. Story 1. A few years ago, I was staying in a remote part of Oregon for work, staying all by myself. I get up in the morning and go into the bathroom to take a shower. The curtain had been bunched against the wall. I get undressed, turn the water on, and pull the curtain fully across tub. When I do, it exposes a bloody handprint on the white curtain. Scared the living out of me. I nope hard out of there and skip the shower, leaving as fast as possible. As I check out, I tell the front desk employee about the handprint. She sighs, rolls her eyes, and says, "Probably just some hunter cleaning his kill in the bathtub. They're not supposed to, but they do it all the time." Story 2. Not a worker, but used to travel for work. Once we were checking into our rooms, and me and a coworker were going to her room. She opened the door, and there was 2 people living in the room. They were prostitutes who were friends with the housekeeper. They were given keys to use empty rooms. Story 3. Been working hotels for almost 20 years. A dead person. A safe full of dildos. A briefcase that had, "If lost, please mail to the FBI." A half-melted ice sculpture for doing shots of a double p. A couple of guns. A person's dog that they left behind. Story 4. My father managed a hotel when I was younger. He came home one day distraught after finding a room with shit everywhere. The guest had shit in all of the pillowcases and smeared it all over the bathroom as well. I remember him saying it looked like a pig had lived in the room for a week. Story 5. Not me, but my wife worked as a night front desk attendant for a very budget hotel. She had some stories. The saddest was a couple who were celebrating their wedding night honeymoon at her hotel. They had been drinking at the reception and came in very happy and friendly. The man came back down after a couple of hours because he couldn't sleep due to back pain. He talked to my wife for a bit and offered her some cake before heading back to the room. He proceeded to take some of his wife's morphine pills, which interacted with the alcohol in his system. His new bride woke up the next morning a widow. Then there was a time when the cleaning ladies found a blow-up doll a guest left in the room. One of the ladies was super excited to bring it home to her adult son. Story 6. Friend's wife runs a mid-priced hotel. She tells stories about what her people have found. Everything from dead bodies in the bed frame. Yup, someone murdered their spouse. Wrapped them in plastic, to drugs. Adult toys. So many toys. To stolen cars in the parking lot. Anything you can imagine she has found. Oh, just remembered. Cams in room. They have to scan every room now to validate that there are nothing communicating in the room now because of how many they have found. Story 7. Not a worker. Stayed at Borgata in Atlantic City. Laid down on the bed and stretched my arms up. Reached up and felt something behind the picture over the bed. Someone stuck a well-used crack pipe behind the picture and the wall. Story 8. Had a lady check in early and ask for a late checkout. She still hadn't checked out by 2 p.m. and wouldn't come out of the room. When we were about to have her escorted out, she finally left. In the room was hundreds of little whiteout bottles everywhere. She had painted every reflective surface with whiteout, including all the plumbing under the sink, all the fixtures, every screw, and had started painting the mirrors. Story 9. Former hotel front desk. At a mid-range business hotel, $200 nightly. We got a frantic call on the radio from housekeeping about a room being nasty. Yeah, it was nasty. Poop thrown on the ceiling, smeared on the walls, on the floor. The bathroom had poop in the tub. The room was declared a biohazard. We pre-authorized about $2,000 on the credit card, and a specialty company was brought in to clean it. Customer wasn't even mad when we called them to inform them of the charges and the ban from the property. Edit. Let me clarify for those thinking this was explosive diarrhea. The poop wasn't just in the bathroom, most of it was in the living area. Story 10. 2 dead bodies. One was an elderly man with no family, who apparently just wanted to be found after he died, which is why he rented a room at our hotel and asked to be woke up at 7 a.m. every day. I guess he knew it was coming, but not sure when second one was a Venezuelan migrant who took cyanide pills. Left a suicide note apologizing to his family foe, not being able to fulfill his promise of taking them with him to a new country, and also apologizing to the staff member at the hotel who he knew would find him. Story 11. While working the night audit at a very upscale hotel, a known pimp, who was previously given a trespass notice to never come back to the hotel, somehow got in the building. Around midnight, he tried to get upstairs to see his girlfriend, and security told him leave or get arrested. Around 4 a.m., he came down the main mezzanine staircase, dragging a girl down the stairs by her hair. She was only wearing one shoe. It was clicking on the stairs on the way down. They were in one of the very expensive suites adjacent to the presidential suite and owner suite. The person that rented the suite was a VVIP and knew how to use the staff elevator and a back entrance so they wouldn't be seen by the public into or out of the hotel. Some shady stuff went on with that guest getting put on the do not rent list. The very important person had the place booked in someone else's name. The very important person wasn't banned for life, but the person whose name was checked in can't ever rent from the property anymore. Story 12. Not trying to kill the vibe, but this might just be the saddest thing I've ever had happen in a room. For context, before I worked at a motel, I worked at a convenience store for 3 years. We had a pipe and bong area where we kept all kinds of stuff, including oil burners, meth pipes. I was always casual about it to keep customers comfortable, but I still felt a sense of guilt selling meth pipes to people, including this one young couple that would come in. They were no older than me, and they would come in often to buy meth pipes. One time, about a year before I left, the girl came in and asked to buy an oil burner, and she specified that it wasn't for her, but for her boyfriend. She said that she was pregnant and expressed significant excitement. Flash forward to motel. I work midnight to 8 a.m. watching security cameras and running the audit report once the sun rises. I've only been there for 2 months or so. Early into my shift, the same girl from my convenience store comes in with her baby in a car seat to check in, along with her friend. I see them on the security camera walking into the room safely, so I go back to the multi-cam view to watch the property. They have some visitors to their room, so I phone up and let them know that it's no extra charge, but I need all guests' IDs if they're over the age of 18. Just policy of the motel. One person brings their ID, but some other people leave. That was normal for me. People don't have their IDs sometimes, so it's okay for them to just leave. Not an hour later, the girl comes running out of her room screaming and crying. The fire department rolls up and gives me no context. Someone had drugged her baby and killed it. Worst shift of my life. And I still feel a small sense of guilt because I was the one that would sell them pipes and kept them in the lifestyle. Story 13. I'm not a worker at a motel, but I have a relevant story. About 12 years ago, my wife and I arrived in Savannah, GA at 11 p.m. to our motel after driving through a thunderstorm for 3 hours. Exhausted and rest to get some sleep, I grabbed the key from the front desk and headed to room number 7 while my wife finished the paperwork. I heard noise coming from the room, so cautiously opened the door. That was when I found 3 men and 1 woman. Naked with the exception of some random biker gear like vests and boots, were in the middle of making a porno. They were all in their 50s, and none were lighter than 300 lbs. There were 2 cameras on tripods, and the bikers looked to be just went to get into the thick of it. I quickly shut the door once I was no longer in shock, then ran back to the desk and let them know some people were in our room, and the desk clerk set us up in room number 1. I didn't tell the clerk what I saw, but my wife and I had a great laugh when we were in our room. Story 14. Managed several hotels when I was younger. Here's a few weird bits. A guest left a briefcase with $35,000 within it, tried to contact them several times to no avail. After 6 months, the police advised us it was now ours. This went to the staff bonus pot. One guest fell seriously ill and was hospitalized. The situation didn't sit right and locked their companion out of the room. They were given an alternative room for free. Found the companion trying to break into the room, despite our offer to get stuff for them. Police were called and they were wanted by them. Also transpired they'd poisoned the guest and were after their wealth. An urn with someone's ashes. Most disgusting is this. Heard the most blood-curdling of screams coming from the rooms. Ran up and found a very traumatized housekeeper. As she flicked the bedding to change the bed, unbeknownst to her, was a used condom. This flicked up in the air and landed on her head. She was frozen in fear and screaming. Had to help her by picking it off her. Understandably, she had the rest of the day off. have a slew of hospitality tales like these. Story 15. Former management at a major hotel in Philly. I was called into a room that was destroyed according to housekeeping. I wasn't expecting what I saw. Hundreds of packages of Sudafed, doors off closets, the honor bar absolutely ripped apart, doors of the hinges, broken wood cabinets, TV was shattered. We did not call the authorities because the band's management asked for discretion and paid a very large, undisclosed, to me at least, sum of money. The room was offline the rest of my tenure there, which was admittedly quite short. Glad I am no longer in that industry. All right, folks, that's a wrap. If you like more of this, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your thoughts in the comment below. I'll see you in the next video.